Hello, scholars and families. This is Miss Sheehan. Today, as you can see, we're trying out Pear Deck to go along with our slideshow. Hopefully it's a little more interactive for you and you have a chance to answer some of the questions that I ask. But remember, your exit ticket will still be on Khan Academy. There's only 7 questions on Khan Academy today, but I would like to sit with you as we watch this video to go over what it means to classify quadrilaterals.
Hi, welcome to Math Antics. In this video, we're going to learn about special kinds of polygons called quadrilaterals.
Okay, I have to pause for a second. Hopefully the scholars in my classroom remember this because I have it posted in my classroom. Does anybody remember what the root quad means? Okay, hopefully you remember. He's going to go over it.
Quadrilateral is just a fancy math word for a polygon that has exactly 4 sides and 4 angles, like this one. You should recognize this shape, of course. It's a square. And a square is a special kind of quadrilateral. It's a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. And it's special because all 4 of those sides are exactly the same length. And all 4 of its angles are exactly the same size. In fact, they're all right angles. Notice
if you have your paper tool, you could hold it up to the screen and test and see that it should fit exactly.
It's also that a square is formed by 2 pairs of parallel sides. These 2 opposite sides are parallel, and these 2 opposite sides are parallel. We'll see why that's important in a few minutes. Okay, so squares are an important type of quadrilateral, but we're going to make some changes to this square to see what other types of quadrilaterals there are. The 2 things that we can change are the sides and the angles. Let's start by changing the sides. Let's stretch our square in one direction so that one pair of sides is now longer than the other pair. This is what we call a rectangle. A rectangle is a quadrilateral that still has 4 equal angles. Notice that when we stretch the square, the angles didn't change at all, but it does not have 4 equal sides. Again, notice that just like a square, a rectangle is made from 2 pairs of parallel sides. All right, so that's a rectangle, but going back to our square, what if instead of changing the sides, we had just changed the angles, like this? What we have now is called a rhombus. A rhombus is a quadrilateral that still has 4 equal sides, but it does not have 4 equal angles.
Notice how 2 of them are bigger than a right angle, obtuse, and 2 of them are smaller, acute. 2 obtuse and 2 acute in a rhombus.
And once again, just like the square and rectangle, the rhombus is made from 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, going back once more to our square. What if we try changing both the sides and the angles? Here's what we end up with, and we call it a parallelogram. It's called a parallelogram because even though its sides are not all equal and its angles are not all equal, it's still made from 2 pairs of parallel sides. Get it? Parallelogram. Now wait a second. If that's the definition of a parallelogram, a quadrilateral that's made from 2 pairs of parallel sides, then wouldn't all these other shapes be parallelograms too? Exactly. All of these shapes are parallelograms, just like they're all quadrilaterals. It's just that we have special names for them if their angles are all equal, a rectangle, or if their sides are all equal, a rhombus, or if both their sides and their angles are all equal, a square. Okay then, if all the quadrilaterals we've seen so far are examples of parallelograms, what's an example that's not a parallelogram? Well, to see one, let's start over with our square again. But this time, we're going to change it by moving just one of its vertices, like so. Now, one of the pairs of sides is still parallel, but the other is not. And a quadrilateral that has only 1 pair of parallel sides is called a trapezoid. Well, actually, this is where classifying quadrilaterals gets a little messy. And that's because this sort of shape is called a trapezoid in America, but it's called a trapezium in other countries, like the UK. Trapezoid, trapezium, trapezoid, trapezium. It's a trapezoid! Oh. At least they both start with the word trap, so it's not too confusing. Yet. Okay, so this quadrilateral is a trapezoid, or trapezium, because it has only one pair of parallel sides, and the other sides are not parallel. Here are a couple more examples of quadrilaterals that have only one set of parallel sides. All right then, what about quadrilaterals that have no parallel sides at all, like this one? These opposite sides are not parallel, and these opposite sides aren't parallel either. So what do we call this kind of polygon? Now here's the really confusing part. In America, this is sometimes called a trapezium. But isn't that what they call a quadrilateral with only one pair of parallel sides in the UK? Yep. Unfortunately, the same word is used to describe two different things in two different countries. Trapezium. 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 Well, at least they both like football. But to keep things clear at Math Antics, we're not going to call a quadrilateral that has no parallel sides a trapezium. We don't think it needs a special name. So we're just going to call it a quadrilateral. So to summarize, any polygon that has exactly four sides is called a quadrilateral. And if it has no parallel sides, we still just call it a quadrilateral. But if it has one and only one pair of parallel sides, we call it a trapezoid or a trapezium. Or, if it has two pairs of parallel sides, we call it a parallelogram. And you've already seen that there's several types of parallelograms,